Hello, welcome to Yield Fall of Rome, a new turn-based strategy game, and welcome to the year 401 at the beginning of our era. The Roman Empire is faltering, and maybe we can even bring it to its knees. We play as one of the peoples and kingdoms on the periphery at the borders of the Roman Empire. We can try to bring the Colossus to its knees either through peaceful, cultural, or economic means, or by simply being militarily stronger and taking their cities. The game is similar. It's a classic turn-based strategy game like Civilization. If you know that, or maybe you know the Battle of Polytopia, or maybe even both games, you could say Yield Fall of Rome is the love child of these two games, and it's definitely the child of real fans of these games. The Norwegian developers from Billion Walls and the Hamburg-based publisher The Delic teamed up for this. Thanks to The Delic for that. They asked me if I could make this crash course video for you in exchange for a small fee to support this video. That's why you see the word advertisement in the corner. I don't think the game needs such a detailed explanation since it's very user-friendly. The graphics are really cute, but behind them there's actually a really clever strategy game. But it's one you can get into easily because the rules are manageable. The appeal is more about solving puzzles cleverly. That means we can build a settlement on the map. We have a fog of war, which we gradually lift with our scouts and other units. We build settlements, buy buildings, connect resources through upgrades, operate, research, and make decisions. Other empires on the map can do that too, but in any case, the Romans can also trade and improve relations that way. Or gather troops, strengthen them, and march over to say hello. That's another way to proceed, both economically and militarily. There's a competitive multiplayer mode, but also plenty of single-player content. The game launches on January 20th. There will be a lot more content added before the full release. At the moment, for example, there are 3 single-player campaigns you can play, where you take over one of these realms with several missions. 5 more will be added. And I think the game is really fun. And that's how it works. At the start of early access, the title is already fully available in German. However, of course, things can still change over time, in balancing, in the user interface, and so on. Here is multiplayer in single-player mode. Behind this are skirmish maps, meaning random maps that let you create a custom challenge against computer opponents, which you can add below with a click. You can adjust many settings. You can change the victory conditions here, set the time in which you should complete a match, and also adjust the starting parameters. Who you encounter, how strong the opponents are. Random maps and scripts are available for selection. And up here in the campaigns there will be 8 at full release, but right now at the start of early access there are 3. We can take control of the Sassanids and fight and manage our economy through the Middle East. From Jerusalem all the way to Constantinople, the mighty port city at the crossroads between the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. Second campaign, the Caledonian Uprising. Lead the Scots. The goal is to fight our way down through Britain all the way to Hadrian's Wall. There the Romans want to stop us from marching further, and the third goal is the rise of the Germanic kingdom. We take over. The Ostrogoths start up here at the Rhine through Cologne and Mainz and across the Alps. From Ravenna it leads straight to Rome, to the Eternal City and perhaps an everlasting triumph there. If this tutorial isn't enough for you, there's also an in-game tutorial up here. There you'll be introduced to the game step by step over several missions. Let's start an individual campaign for the explanation. The Sassanids. We'll begin up here in Odessa. These are achievable milestones. When we reach triggers, we choose between 2 bonuses. We can pick one that is more efficient or better suited to our playstyle. We then carry that over to the other missions in this campaign. We can take it with us and make the gameplay a bit easier. We start in Odessa. The goal is to earn a certain number of crowns. Here it shows us how we can get them on this map. Occupy religious cities with a unit and pay gold in the next round so that we have rebuilt them. building a particularly large level 4 settlement, a metropolis, constructing a world wonder, a national wonder, or capturing a foreign settlement. All of these are sources of crowns. The strength of the opponents we encounter is also displayed, as well as the number of rounds in which you have to achieve the required number of crowns. If you don't manage to do it, or if the opponent earns 4 crowns before you, then unfortunately you'll have to try again. And here we go. The random card script has given us this card. 2 starting units, that's our commander himself, with whom we can move around and explore. Let's lie down up here. You can find things on the map by moving in once and looting up here. For example, these spirals, like the one on the left, show that. This is one of those holy sites that we can build up with gold to get the first crown. They are already revealed on the map at the start of the game. The rest is in the fog of war. Overall, the maps in this game aren't too big. They could be larger in future missions. The game is especially friendly for people who want to experience the epicness of a VX strategy game, but unfortunately only have a limited amount of time. You can easily finish a game or even 2 in one evening, then go to bed and sweetly dream about how successful you played. This is the settler. He can found a city. The game suggests some good locations. A simple rule of thumb, just look at which resources are nearby. Here, for example, wheat, deer, wild boar, fish, and so on. Through technologies that we acquire in the top left via the technology screen, we can gain advantages here. However, I would say this spot is already a pretty good one. Still, it's between 2 wheat resources, and I wouldn't want to build over that. We'll move down here once and then build our first settlement right on the spot. There it is, Persepolis. Let's take a look at what we find in the city. Click on the bottom left, it brings up this screen. At the bottom you can see the buildings you can construct and which buildings they are. Over time there will be more of them. You unlock more buildings through research, and by having more citizens in the city, you reach certain population thresholds. The radius you can cultivate will become larger and more buildings will be unlocked. You can see the number of citizens here under the city name. We have 1 citizen. Next to it are production points. We currently have 0. These are one time, not per turn. Supplies are also shown. We have 2. These are also things we have only once, that we don't generate every turn and that we spend only once. We spend the production points on buildings. That's the bottom row, and in the top row we spend gold and some supplies to get a unit. We can see at the top right that we currently have 12 gold at the start, plus we earn 3 each round from the city we've built. We have enough to buy a first settler, which is right here, so a second one, the first one we just used, and it's being created here. When you recruit a unit, it's not available right away. You have to wait 1 round. You can also only recruit 1 unit per round in each settlement. We'll move on to the next round. Right now, we have 0 production in the city, but we have a total of 10 gold. We could try to generate something on these tiles here. Up here. These are boars, actually 2 boar tiles. I'll go into the technologies with you. There you can see a tech tree. From left to right, by spending gold once, you unlock certain terrain improvements, specific units, and so on. For example, hunting lets us unlock something as shown here in the middle. That you can hunt wild boars, that's what we're going to do now, and we can also get new units here. And through the tech tree, by following the arrows, you gradually reach more and more expensive technologies, which are also increasingly powerful. We'll spend 5 gold, exit the tech tree, and now we can go wild boar hunting here in the front once. The actions that are possible on such a terrain tile are shown below it. Here there's only 1, but later there can be several. If we spend 3 gold, we get the wild boars, but then they're gone. The tooltip shows 2 additional citizens and 2 production points in the city. Very nice, and now let's go into the city and immediately build our first building. At the start, for example, we could build or buy a tavern with 2 production points, which we get every turn. You can see it on the left. 1 gold per turn comes wonderfully out of the city, and right now we only have 2 gold. You can't do much with that. We'll grab our ruler and go up to the left. Up ahead we can immediately occupy the religious cities. But first I want to get 4 free production points. We move on to this. Now we have 4 of them in the city, and maybe we can even build the next building right away with that. For example, we could choose a customs house, which gives us a one-time small gold donation. That way we can get more supplies, a well, or one to recruit more units. We don't need city walls or a royal banner now. We'll get another supply here by building the well. Then we'll leave the city again, move on with the settler unit, and can already start thinking about where we want to build. Maybe in the top left there's room for a new city and possibly space below too. The desert is only somewhat interesting. Let's play it safe and follow our ruler, who has also uncovered a lot of cool things. 2 settlers are now on the map, one up here in front. When we click on a unit, it shows how far you can move. A little tip, you can't move step by step, but you always have to decide which tile within your movement range you want to move to this turn. And then you have to guess a bit and hope that you move onto a good tile. It's not too difficult for you because we have some loot up ahead that we can grab. Let's move in now. You can loot with settlers too and get 5 gold. Plus, there's a green strip here where we might build a beautiful city soon. There's still some lack of map knowledge. Next, we'll get a scout in Persepolis, which is relatively cheap for 2 gold and 1 supply. Next round, we'll move on from here. Meanwhile, we've collected a total of 17 gold from a few things we've found on the map, and we want to invest it right away. I'd like the second ring in the city to be developed as well, meaning that we have more people living here. Let's go to the technologies and then to agriculture, which will allow us to unlock homesteads that can be built on wheat, for example. And hamlets, which give you 3 population points. We buy agriculture for 5 gold and get smarter there, go back to the map and get a hamlet up front here. You can only build them at a certain distance from the starting city. That means you might want to settle in places where 1 or 2 spaces are definitely free, so you can do something like that. We built a hamlet, reached 3 population, and can now practice agriculture. Up here we spend 5 gold, get 3 more citizens, and receive 1 gold each round, and those were the crucial citizens for leveling up. And now we have 2 tiles, 1 tile further out in the ring around the city, that we can cultivate. Well, that looks very promising, doesn't it? With our settler, we could find some beautiful spots here. Before we settle right on the spot, there's plenty of farmland all around. Those are sheep, so we can build pastures there as soon as we've unlocked animal husbandry. Fish. As soon as we can do that too, then we can draw from the water here. I'll move 1 tile further down, and right here we'll found our second settlement. There it is. The names are always given automatically by the game. What we're going to do now is make sure of that. Up here we'll spend 5 gold, so that we have 3 more citizens in the city. There they are. And now we can already build our 3rd settlement here. A little tip, by pressing the middle mouse button, that is the mouse wheel, you can move the map. And with WASD you can also move the map. Of course, the game can also be controlled with a controller, and it works on the Steam Deck as well. We want to go over here. We'll found our city up front. Susa has been founded. Lots of exciting things around it. I'd like us to uncover the second ring as quickly as possible. Connect the grain up here once, then connect the grain again. Second farmstead, wonderful. Then maybe add a hamlet up here. That way we'll have a few more citizens in the city, and done. It can happen that quickly, already a level up. And by now we've uncovered more of the map, including our neighbors. There are 2 factions on the map. The Romans are always present, recognizable by their red colors, and on this map the Arabs are also included. Each of these factions has a unique leader who is always on the move with their unit and brings their specific abilities. This means each faction plays a bit differently, but you always have a different challenge on each map. And also here at the start of this mission, they had a relationship value with which they started with us. We were fortunate, both were so peacefully benevolent to us. You can show that at the top right of the relationship section in green. If we hover over it, for example, you can see that we can move our units within their settlement borders, and they can do the same with us. We can't move our units onto foreign units, but we can elegantly maneuver around them. If we had only had a yellow value here and started out neutral, then maybe we could have built traders, recruited them in our cities. Here I set one up, and now we're going to move it into the city, into this site. That ensures you get the gold bonus once, and it also improves relations here with this city. Once it's in, we also get 5 more citizens in our nearest city. The relationship value will also change later. We can also use these traders for domestic routes. To do this, you simply send them to another one of your own cities if that city has few citizens and you want to have more citizens there. Just send a trader and it works. If we are allowed to move freely within the borders of foreign empires, then others are allowed to do the same in ours. By now we have many units stationed right at the borders. We really should secure these religious cities here. We'll move one of the 3 into the spear and he'll stay here for 1 turn. And after that we can spend money once, gold, to get our first victory point, our first crown. There it is up front. The possible actions are at the bottom right. We claim this religious city for ourselves. We pay 15 gold once, and please pay attention to the number of crowns up here. The game is celebrating us, and in my opinion, it's completely justified. Then I'd like to do one more thing. I'd like to found a religion. You do that in the capital, where you go into Persepolis, and there's a building called Temple. You can build it once your settlement reaches a certain level. And this temple not only gives you +2 income every turn, but it also allows you to found a religion. There it is now, and now we can spread it to foreign cities, which can be done in different ways. The easiest way is simply to build a road connection to one of our other cities. I'll do it as follows. I'll go back up to the technologies with you, and there you'll find the infrastructure. We've already met the requirements here. There you can unlock roads and view construction costs for each terrain tile. You can only offer 2 gold. Be careful on tiles with grassland, plains, and forest hexes. That means it can't be too rough, and it also reduces movement costs. That means our units can move faster, spend 7 gold once, buy once. Then we'll go back out and set up here in the front, maybe over there. After Passagate, should we build there or head to Susa? We have a lot of production points in Susa, so we could easily build a temple there. Click on the tile in question, then build a road once and then build another road. We avoid this hill here, we won't go through it, and again and again and again and done. Here we are in Susa, and now let's take another look inside Susa. The temple is now available to us as well. Wonderful. That's how we spread our faith. And in the top left there's the objective. Spread the faith to 3 settlements, to 3 more now. The numbers keep changing as we progress, and then we could unlock a cool bonus there too. And while the Romans, under their defensive king Theodosius, are holed up in their settlement, we've founded Sardis just south of there at Aldiwheel. There are many great opportunities here. Among other things, we have several wheat fields close together that we can develop with farms, and in between, right here in the front of the field, we have forest and red deer. And now I want to show you a cool little trick. We had already unlocked the technologies, the infrastructure, and with that you can see the windmills here on the left. They give, for each homestead next to them, for each farm, 5 population points, 1 production, and 1 supply. Wow, and we want to take advantage of that now. We go here, we have a homestead here, we have a homestead there, and in between we have this field. We had already researched hunting. To use this as efficiently as possible, we don't want to build a windmill yet, but first go hunt the red game. That disappears, then gives us a population point and a production point for Sardis. Then I also want to remove the forest here, otherwise it would be wasted. We go up into the technologies, we go into forestry, spend 7 gold to unlock logging. Once we've got that, we have the option to cut down the wood here, which costs us nothing. We get 2 gold. Now the field is empty, and now we build on it. The windmill gets 10 new citizen points in the city and 2 production. And you can see how the windmill spins happily. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Shall we try that? On the one hand, unlock a benefit for all future missions of this campaign, and on the other hand, make sure that we get even more gold every round in this mission. Both birds. Let's strike with the Stone of Religion. Up here, a new settler. We're founding this small settlement here in the hinterland of our capital. It's called Babylon. We can already build roads, we can lay a road network up or down here. Flat terrain is possible, but don't go up here. And now we've spread our religion to 5 cities, and with that we've achieved a milestone, triggered something, and can enact a religious policy. 2 are available to choose from. For our purposes, we'll choose the monotheism policy. We believe in the one true God and not in polytheism. From now on, every one of our settlements that follows our faith will give us a bonus. Every technology we acquire will cost us 1 less gold. What's also extremely cool is that on the left here, there's the option to enact or build monasteries. On the terrain, if you place it on a road, at least 2 settlements must be connected to each other, and each round we generate gold for every settlement that's connected to this road network. We'll do that right away, but quickly, why are these things so cool? These are advantages, all of which we can take with us into future missions that we can do throughout this campaign. And if in one of the next missions we go to a religious site with our king, that is with our leader himself, and spend gold to rebuild it, we don't just get 1 crown but 2 crowns. 2 victory points for that, which should really help us. But first let's build our monastery. For example, we could do it here in the front. We go there, build a monastery, 5 gold every round, please. It looks great up front. I already showed you earlier these special upgrades that benefit from adjacency bonuses. Here's another example. Here in the front is a sheep pasture. Down here we'll place the next one. And in between we want to further process the sheep's wool. We go into the technologies and unlock weaving. There it is ahead. That's the new wool spinning mill we can build. And it also benefits from such neighborhood bonuses. That means you get 2 population and 5 gold for every pasture next to it. We'll go back over and build the thing up front here, and that'll give us 10 gold. Wow, and now on the left we have one of those advanced improvements that benefit from neighborhood bonuses, namely the weavery. Up front we have the windmill, and there's space in between for another building. Let me show you that. That's in the late game of the tech tree. It's up here with trade, the marketplace, and the marketplace produces +2 income for each adjacent upgrade. However, that's not every upgrade. It's really only these advanced upgrades. That means it's a meta building for the neighborhood. It stacks the neighborhood effects. Here's a neighborhood building. There's 1. Up here, the marketplace. In the back, 4 gold. Every round more. Wow. By the way, as a general rule, these neighborhood bonuses can only be tapped once and not multiple times. Be careful when putting things together. And by now, this little village of Sardis, which we cheekily placed south of the Roman settlement some time ago, has grown quite large. Level 3, there are a maximum of 4 levels in a city, and we've proudly collected 40 production points by now, so we should make use of them. Let's open the build menu, and you can actually build a national wonder. There are several in the game, and with exactly 40 points we can get the Colosseum. On this map, that's one of the possible sources to get a crown, which means to earn a victory point. Some national wonders give smaller bonuses, don't grant a crown point, and are a bit cheaper. These also unlock over time. We'll review those too. That's nice to hear. And please don't be surprised, we're jumping to another map, into another campaign. We're in the north of Great Britain in Scotland. Our Caledonians are trying to drive the Romans off the big island. We actually get along well with them, we've traded with them, they love us dearly, that's their only city, but never trust a Scot. I've recruited some Cupid archers and also a few cool leaders. Let's see what's possible here. Slow. Units, fast units, they're all on the move now. Please attack. The relationship was worse, only plus 80, not plus 100. Why our units are so strong in combat? We've maxed out the technology tree and unlocked powerful units. And then you can build certain buildings in your cities, which, for example, allow you to specialize. With the fast cavalry units, they always start with one more experience point and more combat strength. And one turn later, we have the opportunity to actually capture the city with the cavalry unit that occupied it for one turn. We're shown a new policy, additional bonuses that we can take with us for this campaign. Our relationship with the Romans is, of course, completely ruined. Now, this is how nicely Fall of Rome plays, in case you might want to get the game. Available on Steam in early access starting from the 20th. Available January 2025, and here nearby, around this video, in an accompanying text or the first pinned comment. Wherever you'll find a link to the Steam store page. You can also follow that page there, or add the game to your wishlist, then you'll always get information about how the game is developing, all updates, and when the full release will be. Otherwise, I wish you a lot of fun playing yourself, maybe even as much fun as I had with Yield Fall of Rome.